Hello, 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 and what is going on, everybody? I am Master of the TDS, and I'm joined by my lovely wife,
WritingRaven.
and we're back for another episode of Psycho-Synopsis. 3 topics from the past week, all summarized in one video for you to enjoy and consume at your leisure.
You're welcome. Now let's get into it.
I am a storyteller and an activist, and my body of work over the last 20 years has been guided by my activism, and every single piece of work that I've ever created has a piece of activism in it. It could be very overt or it could be covert, but it is there.
And we're in 2024 now, and I think it's about time that we had a woman come forward to shape the story in a galaxy far, far away.
You have failed me for the last time.
I make men uncomfortable. Also, I never went to film school.
Not something you want to admit.
Daisy Ridley's return as Rey in a new Star Wars movie directed by obaid-chinoy, the first woman and person of color to helm a Star Wars feature, generates controversy and fan skepticism due to criticism of the Rey character and concerns over obaid-chinoy's comments.
Yeah, she has been saying a lot of dumb things that really make you worry for the future of Star Wars if you weren't already worried for the future of Star Wars.
One thing to keep in mind, a lot of people are taking some of her comments out of context. There's one that's going around where it's like, I like to make men uncomfortable, and that was from something a while ago, so we have to recognize that that's not necessarily something that comes up here.
Yeah, she also admitted never going to film school.
There's a lot of things that she said that were not very smart.
Her never saying she never went to film school reminds me of the She-Hulk writers admitting they don't know how to write law scenes.
It's funny how these people keep getting hired by Disney when they can't actually do the things they're hired for.
I know, I hate that.
It's almost like there's some kind of agenda, and they're hiring people based on who they are rather than qualifications. But Disney would never do that, right?
Of course they would, it's Disney.
I'm being sarcastic.
I know.
Now, the main thing we're talking about here is, first off, this Rey movie is going to be stupid because I think it'll be a very good test to see exactly how popular Rey is as a character.
She's not.
Well, aside from Twitter, you never see it anywhere. And it's always defending Rey. She's not a good character for multiple reasons, and it's not just because she's a woman. Same thing applies here. People are out there saying, well, you just hate her because she's a woman directing. No. When Patty Jenkins was announced for Rogue Squadron, which now is canceled, nobody cared.
Yeah, and the way she marketed that show was actually the way you want to market, saying how much she loved watching jet planes fly because her dad was a fighter pilot in the US Air Force, and so she wanted to make a story similar to that.
But set in the Star Wars universe.
That is how you market. That actually seemed intriguing and sounded like something, based on what she said, sounded like something that was going to actually be good.
Yes. Now, we didn't get that movie, and that's a shame. I do think it would be interesting to see. Again, Patty Jenkins did have some falling out with the whole Wonder Woman 1980, what was it called?
84.
1984, whatever. I didn't even see it.
Neither did I.
But the main thing people are discussing is that obaid-chinoy went on a interview, and this was literally on New Year's, so the first day of the new year, and basically said it's about time that a woman or person of color was involved in Star Wars. And first off, that's not true. There are many women-led projects that have already come out. If you want to say this is the first Star Wars movie directed by a woman, you'd technically be correct, but there are already rumors and things about George Lucas's ex-wife being involved in Star Wars and stuff like that, so it's debatable.
And also, Kathleen Kennedy has been in charge of Lucasfilm for the past 10 years.
Correct. Nobody cares that she is a woman. The problem is when you are going to hire somebody to helm a franchise, what we're expecting is it to be somebody who has some knowledge, love, or at least dedication to the franchise. If she was just a documentary creator, which she is, but if she had made documentaries and she also said, I've loved the Star Wars movies, I've loved them since I was a little girl, and I've always wanted to make something, in the galaxy far, far away, at least you'd have something to relate to. Coming out and saying, well, it's about time that a woman was in charge. Okay, and how about your interest in the film? Do you like Star Wars? Do you even care? We don't get any of that.
No, we do not.
It's very possible that she does care. It's very possible. We don't know. But coming out and saying this was not the right way to go about it.
No, not at all. Please, please, please. I mean this in the nicest way possible. Stop talking unless you have something nice to say about Star Wars.
Or even critical. Something at all about Star Wars, something that makes you relatable. That's what we need. The fact that this is your first thing that you come out and say, and yet you don't show any positive words towards Star Wars as a brand, it's very telling.
It's a red flag.
It's more than a red flag. At this point, we could say there's so many red flags, it's hard to find any other colored flag.
Fair point.
No! God, please, no! 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 No!
Marvel fans are divided over the quality of the Daredevil-centric fight scene in the upcoming Disney Plus Echo, with some expressing concerns based on a sneak peek, mixed anticipation for a January 9 airing, and lingering doubts fueled by rumors suggesting efforts to prevent the show's release.
And based on what we have seen in said fight scene, it's no wonder they did not want this released.
Now, we have to recognize that it is a rumor that this was a rumor that they've tried to can this project multiple times. What makes me think this is true is two things. One, this rumor was spread in multiple different areas, so it wasn't just from one person. Two is, as you can see, the review embargo, the social review embargo, is only going to be up the day it airs.
That is a very bad sign.
Marvel has never done this before. And the fact that they're dumping all the episodes at once and they're making to the last possible moment for people to talk about it already gives some red flags. And then this rumor flying around, it kind of seems more believable.
Yeah. Why couldn't they have canned this? Is it because of all the diversity points?
Yes, and other reasons. Apparently there were some contracts, whatever. That's what we were told. We don't know for certain. I honestly think the character of Echo is probably one of the stupidest characters to base a show around.
Not a stupid character in general, but she's so C tier that no one knows who she is.
I think you're insulting C tier. But the biggest problem here is they changed her powers from the thing, what they seem to do a lot. But also is that she's a character that was not very well known, and the reason they're doing this is because they want to have the first deaf, disabled, whatever. I get all that. The point I'm going to make here is that I think that there was a way to do this correctly, and this is the way to do it incorrectly. Because you're trying to market this character more with the other characters and cameos around it, and the fact that you're playing all these games and 4D chess, you're basically saying, oh, well, we know this is not going to do well, so we have to pull out all the stops. If you know it's not going to do well, maybe you shouldn't make it. Maybe you should think about it this way. First off, the whole seeing yourself on the screen thing is not necessary. But if that's what you were going for, think about it this way. If this flops, what will it say about you and your representation of disabled people or deaf people?
That it's not good, that it's an insult to said people, and it should never have been done to begin with.
If it flops because it's not good, yes, correct. But we all know what's going to happen.
You hate disabled people, racism, sexism, blah-de-blah-de-blah, bingo card, activate.
Exactly. It may be good. Maybe we'll be pleasantly surprised. I don't think so based on all the stuff going on around it, but we always have to keep in mind that possibility.
Based on the fight scene that was horribly choreographed and terribly edited, I have no hope.
I don't really have hope either, and to be fair, I wasn't really interested in this show to begin with, but I know there are some people who are interested in this show and are hoping for it to be good, and you know what? I hope for their sakes that it is.
Sure.
I would love to come back next week and say, hey, you know what, guys? The show's actually good. But given all the news and stuff around it, I just don't see it.
Yeah, neither do I. Besides, with Marvel's track record lately, it's bound to fail and bound to make them lose more money. So
we'll never know because it's on Disney Plus, so they'll never mention exactly. Unless it does like really well or they need to push it, they won't say anything. I have a feeling that this is not going to do very well, but they're going to pretend that it does, simply because they don't have many other MCU projects coming out this year.
that is true. The only Marvel movie coming out this year is Deadpool, which we are looking forward to.
I'm looking forward to it with some skepticism. I'm hoping it's like the other ones, but we never know. This is Disney Deadpool now.
True, but I really hope it's the story of Deadpool kills the Marvel Universe. But at least we're finally getting Hugh Jackman's Wolverine in the yellow costume.
We'll see. At least we'll get some good meme material out of it, at the very least.
Is there a problem, people?
We were just deciding what to do about Steamboat Willie Mickey being in the public domain.
Put a chick in it, make her gay!
Kennedy, this is about Steamboat Willie being in the public domain.
Put a chick in it and make her name it gay!
Sure, let's try that again.
Put another gay diverse woman in it, make it more fucking lame!
And to your right, you can see all Disney's box office success in 2023.
It's only one movie.
As of January 1st, 2024, early versions of Mickey Mouse from animations like Steamboat Willie have entered the public domain in the US, allowing their use without Disney's permission, leading to creative reinterpretations and some modern challenges on platforms like YouTube.
And it is glorious to behold.
I think that the memes are funny. I think that the people running with it and trying to make cash grab movies like things, I think that you're asking for trouble, and I think that there's no need for a Mickey-themed horror movie.
Wasn't there also the one person who did some kind of dub over and got copyright claimed?
That's what I was getting to, is that YouTube is also they're still claiming it on behalf of Disney, and this is something that most people do not know, which I am going to bring to this video, so hold on to your hats.
What is it, love?
6 months ago, Disney released a trailer for a cartoon on Disney Plus called Steamboat Silly, where Mickey Mouse apparently meets his Steamboat Willie counterpart.
Really now? So you mean they were prepared for this to go into the public domain and were already planning to make it not public domain?
Exactly. They have that. That's definitely theirs. You can't reuse that footage.
I mean, they literally 10 years ago turned Steamboat Willie into one of the intros for all their Disney movies as a way to keep it from entering the public domain because copyright laws have literally been rewritten for Disney for the past 50 years. It's why entertainment lawyers refuse to go up against Disney.
That and because they usually get run out of money.
Yes.
But it's important to note that Disney's going to try every way possible to claim copyright strike, whatever, things that involve Steamboat Willie, simply because they don't like the fact that it's not under their control, and they don't like the fact that people can use it in ways that depict Mickey Mouse in a negative light.
True, and there's also the trademark of Mickey Mouse to consider, being that Mickey Mouse is literally the face of Disney, the Disney mascot even, and so part of the trademark problem is that it's potentially using Steamboat Willie can confuse people with their project being a Disney product, which is not necessarily true, but it is understandable why the confusion would be there if you're going to call your character Mickey Mouse.
Now, there is one movie out there right now that is going to be made that it's a horror movie called Mickey's Mousetrap, and I think that one's going to be the most problem because that movie, literally it's not even look like Steamboat Willie, and they're calling him Mickey.
Yeah, that's where the problem lies.
Keep in mind, Steamboat Willie is what's in the public domain. If you create a character that looks similar to Steamboat Willie and you don't use the actual cartoon, but you kind of change it and you kind of whatever, there's a very good chance that you'll be okay.
Yes, kind of like we did with this video.
But I think that some people are asking for trouble. I like the memes. I made one myself. I think that it's cool in a way because it gives people the opportunity to make new things, but at the same time, it's also, I have to kind of put a different light on it as well. We criticize Disney all the time for destroying things that we love and changing them. This could kind of be considered the same thing that we're doing to them.
You mean karma?
Yes, it's a taste of their own medicine, but it's kind of also us in a weird way. I'm not saying this 100%, but it could be perceived by others as stooping to the level that they have.
So, spite.
Yes, but to be fair, I don't care if it's spite or not. I think Disney deserves a little taste of their own medicine. It's not going to wake them up. It's not going to make them change. But I'm hoping that at least we can have some fun out of it. And there are other things coming into the public domain in the next couple years that will be interesting to see. I believe another Mickey cartoon is coming into the public domain in the near future.
Isn't it also the original Peter Pan?
Peter Pan's already been in the public domain for a while, I think.
Oh.
I don't know if... I think it's actually in the public domain now, the original Peter Pan. But regardless, it'll be interesting to see what people do with this kind of stuff. I'm hoping we're not just going to get a bunch of horror movies. There are some, like, interesting video games coming out and stuff like that.
Yeah, why does it always have to be a horror movie? Is that just because those are the cheapest to make?
That, and also, it's like the antithesis of what Disney stands for. So if you're going to make something and make a scene, that's usually the go-to. Hence, we got the Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey. Even though that didn't do well necessarily, it still made money.
True, which is why we're getting a sequel of it. I mostly just wanted to see Winnie the Pooh tearing someone apart limb by limb with viscera and blood and guts and sinew.
Okay, we're done now.
Okay, let's do this. Therapy. This way for the therapy.
And now it is time for the diagnosis of the week.
Where we diagnose the week with a mental illness.
Because someone has to.
And we have an interesting diagnosis for this week.
Do tell.
So the diagnosis for this week is social identity theory.
Please explain.
So social identity theory explores how individuals categorize themselves and others into social groups, derive a sense of identity and self-esteem from these groups, and tend to favor their in-group while perceiving out-groups differently. It was developed by Henry Tajfel and John Turner.
In relation to today's topics, with Star Wars, fans may experience discomfort and conflict when they perceive inconsistencies or changes in character arcs, potentially threatening their identification with the Star Wars fan community.
With Echo, fan backlash and division among Marvel fans may occur due to changes or perceived shortcomings in the Daredevil-centric fight scene, challenging the established identity and expectations within the Marvel fan community.
And with Steamboat Willie, individuals and entities may experience anxiety when faced with a potential reinterpretation of the iconic character, disrupting the established social identity tied to the protective works.
We see this a lot where these group of fan bases, whether it's cartoons or whatever, end up appearing out of nowhere, and they kind of become this little, like, group. And they scream and they make lots of noise, and anybody else who says anything different to them is perceived as this evil person. And we see this a lot because we're always often on the outside. Not that we don't care about Star Wars or whatever, all these kinds of things. It's that we've seen the changes and we're not fans of them. So we're going to voice our opinion. But if you voice an opinion and you're not part of their social identity, they will reject you and call you names and all this kind of stuff because they cannot accept that somebody feels differently. They have become so ingrained in these franchises and their little identity echo chambers that they cannot possibly be encouraged or pushed out of it. And so we see it quite often online especially. And I think we'll continue to see it until eventually some of them get a rude awakening. And that's why I feel this is a great diagnosis for this week.
I agree.
That is all we have for this week. Let us know what you think in the comments below, and also make sure to like, share, comment, and subscribe with notifications on so you do not miss your weekly therapy session.
Or you will be charged.
Feel free to join the channel or leave us a super thanks. Any money contributed to the channel is going to be used for the channel.
And also feel free to check out all of the links in the description below.
But for now, Gothic Therapy out.